and welcome to my first of 10 video tutorials for the Cotton Cuts Village Green Puzzle Mystery Quilt series. I am a little bit behind on recording these, so I'm probably going to try and record them and then either they're all in the same day or in the next couple of days. But right now I have clue number 1 here, and we're going to go through that. So I hope that you'll join me and have a good time. And if you have this and you need help, post down below. Or if you love Cotton Cuts, also post down below. This is my first puzzle mystery quilt that I've done with them, so I'm really excited. I got the large quilt, and I got the lavender colorway. So I haven't opened anything yet. So it came in this cute little bag. And I apologize, my machine's probably going to pick up real loud on the camera. So if it does, you may just need to turn your volume down once I get sewing. In this little kit, their pin came in with that, so that's really cute. If you're wondering about this ironing board, there is a tutorial on my YouTube showing you how I made this. So go ahead and watch that as well. So the great thing about Cotton Cuts is they come completely pre-cut. So there's no cutting, there's no fussing, no ironing, no starching, no none of that. You don't have to do any of that. I got the lavender colorway, and these are all batiks. So in each month they send a Cotton Cuts block of the month with cutting instructions. This doesn't have anything to do with the actual block that we're sewing up today, so I'm going to set that aside. And so it comes with this fun little guide on tips and tricks, the shipping dates, tells you what your fabric colors are, and then this is going to be our instructions. So for the first video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the whole thing, and if the feedback I get is just do the first step of like one block, and then, you know, I can say pause to do your own and then pick back up. We can do that, but I'm going to do the whole thing, and we're just going to see how it works out, because this is my first time doing the Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt as a tutorial. So we're just going to go ahead and set these down. I don't want to show you exactly what this looks like, but it's going to tell me that I need this. So fabric A, this is fabric A. It says I should have 4, so I have 4 of these. For A, I have 8 of these right here. Fabric B is going to be this. That's fabric B. We're just going to set fabric A over here like this. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. New YouTube recorder, right? Or new YouTuber. That's how we're going to say, what we're going to say. C, there should be 8 of these. I do have really bad allergies, so I might sneeze. I apologize in advance. So this is C. D is going to be this. Oh, I love this. I love batiks. They are super pretty. What is this? This is fabric F. Okay. Okay. So we're going to take C, D, and F. So you're going to take rectangles C, D, and F, and you're going to put them, if you have right sides together. I apologize, I have dogs. And I think school's probably getting ready to let out, so the dogs are going to be barking. So I apologize in advance. So I'm using a scant 1/4 of an inch. I know that's like super crazy. Like it's super vague in quilting terms. It's just like a hair smaller than a 1/4 of an inch. I'm using a scant. Whatever you do, be consistent. That's all I recommend. I'm using my Juki TL18 QVP. I am using probably a 2.5 millimeter stitch length. I'm using cotton thread. It's Essentials thread by Connecting Threads. Not paid or anything, not sponsored. I just love their thread. All right, so we're gonna start with these. I believe we do, yeah, we're gonna sew all of our rectangles together. Right? And if you're consistent, you should be fine. And I'm just chain piecing. This is section 1. And so we're making 8 of these. And batiks don't really have a right or a wrong side. Some batiks do if they're not, I want to say not high quality batiks. Batiks, if they're done the right way, won't have a right or wrong side, so it doesn't matter. But if you're using regular quilting cotton, if you're using one of the other colorways that's not a batik, make sure you take care when matching your blocks to see which is the right and which is the wrong side. And they do include trimming instructions for all of your blocks, or it tells you how large each section should be. Purple happens to be my favorite color, so that's why I went with lavender. It was a toss-up between 2 different colorways, but I didn't go with more than one this time. It's my first time doing this, so I wanted to make sure that I liked it, you know? The sign-ups for the Village Green Puzzle Mystery Quilt are closed, but they do have another one. Their fall Puzzle Mystery Quilt for Carnival is gonna go live, I think, on the 26th of May. So if you're interested in that. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to iron them right away. I'm just going to cut these out. All right, so then taking note that this is C, D, and then F. So F is going to go right here. And I'm going to be using my mini Aliso on this ironing board. I do have a large Aliso, but I figure for the board that's closest to the sewing machine, the mini one's going to be just fine. I recorded the tutorial for the ironing board, and the microphone on my camera on my computer monitor picked this up really loudly, so I'm assuming that this camera is going to be exactly the same way. I normally stream on Twitch, and when I use my headset, I have heard that my headset doesn't pick up the sewing machine quite as loudly. But I don't prefer to sew with my headphones on all of the time. So I'm probably going to have to look into a wireless mic. I also thought about doing this live on my Twitch stream, but then I have people that I have to entertain while I'm doing this. And there's already a community-wide joke that I failed to read directions. And that's mostly true. I don't read directions a whole lot when it comes to like bag making. I'm a rebel. What can I say? But these ones, I am making sure that I am reading what I'm supposed to be doing. So a small triangle A to the top right of a large triangle F. So all right, so with these, you're matching your points. So these are cut in such a way that they should absolutely line up. And I love that. These batiks are so pretty. I'm trying to be real careful. Anything cut on the diagonal can get real scary real quick. So I'm trying not to pull on any of the fabrics. Just let it glide through. And I don't use pins. I don't use clips. I only use those, I only use clips when I make bags. And pins I use only when I'm like doing the final stages of a quilt. When I need to make sure the rows aren't shifting. Okay, and then we're gonna do A with B. Some of these are a little hard to get apart from each other. I feel like this is kind of the perfect, this is the perfect kind of quilt for a beginner. Because they're pre-cuts. Everything's cut out for you already. It's precision cut, so it's like there's no guesswork. And this is going to make 2 blocks, I believe. I think each month is 2 blocks. No, this is going to be 4. This is going to be 4 blocks. Just have to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. The only thing that makes me nervous is these bias cuts, because it's really easy to stretch this out right here. So if you've never worked with anything on the bias, anything cut on the bias rather, just be wary that when you are pressing your fabrics, you don't want to rough iron them, you just want to press them. So I'm just setting all of these over here. Yes, I do have a thing on my machine that would help me cut these faster. I like using my scissors. I don't know why. I just do. All right, so we're going to get into a little bit of the last few of the triangles. Okay. All right, so we're gonna take we're gonna go back to fabric A. If I can get them apart. And I'm just gonna open it. I'm just gonna open the top. Just lightly. And if your seam allowance is good, the top, the far edge of your smaller triangle, the flat edge should match up with the top. Should match up with the top edge. Words are hard. I'll give you a visual in a second. You might actually, you can kind of see it. I did look at my computer just to make sure because my recording software. So right here, the edge of this triangle right here should match up with the top edge of this. And it does. So just do that again, open it up. Just a light finger press. You don't need anything super crazy. Line it up. And then stitch it down. I kick myself for not starting this earlier. However, with my full-time job, and now I realize how long editing videos takes, it's no wonder I haven't started this sooner. I edited the ironing board. So the ironing board video that I took was like an hour and 40 minutes or so. Maybe a little bit shorter. It took me hours to edit. It took my computer an hour to export it. And it has taken YouTube over 2 hours to upload it. So, I suppose that's the reason I have gravitated and stayed with Twitch for so long instead of uploading videos to YouTube, because the editing process takes so long. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this journey plays out. Since I am within, 5 years of a first retirement, setting up a YouTube is going to be, I think, helpful for the long run. There are a few Cotton Cuts YouTube streamers, like they live stream. They don't do these as tutorials. And I can link those people that I follow. But my first exposure to this was So Becca. So Becca actually came and visited my Twitch stream, which I thought was awesome. and then I visited her on her YouTube. I don't get to attend lives very much just because of life things. Friday nights are difficult. That's the time when I try to spend quality time with the partner. So, because I live stream during the week, during the work week. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I don't stream normally. Okay. Last two of the diagonals. Okay, now let me see what it says about pressing. Okay, so it wants me to press, I guess, towards the dark. All right, so let's see how this goes, right? It's not really towards the dark, but sure. Luna is in here, and she is terrified of the cord. All right, so I'm going to press. So there's one. Set that over here. I did mention this in my last video, and I'm fairly certain somebody is going to either try to make the recommendation or they're going to ask me why. I don't use the wool pressing mats for a few reasons. First, I've heard that they smell like sheep. And I'm assuming not everybody has that experience, but that's enough of a reason for me not to. But I also don't consume animal products, and I don't use animal products in my sewing. So a wool mat is not something that I would have in my sewing studio. So any of my bags that I make, they all use vinyl or some type of like leatherette. My labels are either fabric or a leatherette. And that's not a slight to anyone who does use the wool mats. It's just a personal choice for me. And I think that, we're all able to make those choices for ourselves. These are looking amazing. I am absolutely in love with this ironing board that I made. It's really cool when you can make things for yourself, right? I'm trying to do this quickly for a couple of reasons. I live in the Pacific Northwest and I don't have air conditioning, and it is May when I'm recording this. It's May 18th to be exact, I believe, right? Yeah, it's May 18th. And we have been on the business end of a heat something or other. It's been warm, to say the least, the last like 2 weeks. And we do have portable AC units. I do have one in my office, but it's not on because it's noisy. And I'm recording a video and I don't want it to be super noisy for... I don't want it to be super noisy for the video. All right. All right, so we're just gonna try and like gentle press, right? I'm not like really trying to pull. I just want to make sure that these lie nice and flat. And that's what, so this is F and this is A. So these are the bottom blocks. I would love to know what your favorite quilt pattern is, if you have one. And if you enjoy blocks of the month or puzzle mystery quilts. I like to say I enjoy blocks of the month, but I think of the ones that I've done, I've only finished one, and it's not even fully quilted. So, and it was a block of the month from Craftsy when it was Craftsy and then it was something else and now it's Craftsy again. And it was the block of the month from 2012. And I didn't finish it until 2017 was when I actually like quilted it, but it's not, the quilting's not finished. I just did a lot of straight line quilting because the quilt is massive. And then I have one that I did again in 2012, or I started in 2012. It's a Redworks quilt that was put on by a store local to me when I lived in Washington the first time, and the shop is no longer with us. They closed their doors after I moved out of state. And it took me, I think, until 2021 to finish the last blocks. So 9 years to finish the last blocks. Those were not pre-cut though. They had like pre-cut strips of fabric, and then I had to use the templates to cut out, and they were tiny templates, and it was not something I truly enjoyed. Okay, so the way it works is that's the bottom. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and again, we're going to stitch these at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, let me grab this last one and we'll iron this real quick. Perfect. Okay, so then we'll let that one cool down. I'm usually not very good with things that have a diagonal on them. I will be 100% honest on that. Because it never fails. I always seem to find a way to warp the block, or the block doesn't come out the way I want it to. And probably a lot of that could be fixed by just making sure I'm trimming my blocks. But I'm just going to do it this way. Again, rebel. Okay. I mean, it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Looks pretty good. I was going to try and do 2 clues today, but I don't think that that's going to be my luck. But that's okay. The editing process on this one, on these ones, shouldn't be terrible, only because I'm not cutting anything out. The video you get is the video you get. Like, I don't have another one of these to make, so the bloopers stay. Okay. All right, and I already know that we're pressing up. And there we go, there's one. Looks pretty darn good. This one needs to be backstitched. Cool. There we go. And we'll use our lead fabric again for the next one. I was already able to tell that that seam was not secure. And I really didn't want to chance it. You know what I mean? If you know if you're in this stage and you know that your seams, or it looks like a seam is not stable or is going to come unraveled, I just go ahead and secure that up. Because you never know. You never know if you're like side stitches, right? Because we're going to put sides on all of these. You just never know if that's going to work and hold that stitching in, and you don't want that to fall apart. Like all this hard work that you've done, you don't want it to fall apart like in the wash or super quickly after you've made it. And this is kind of why I use a smaller stitch length, because smaller stitch lengths typically don't do that, but it's probably just where I was in the stitching. It was probably operator error. Now this one has a little bit of an overhang, so I am going to go over to my cutting table behind me, and I'm just going to clip that right off. And by clip, I mean use my rotary cutter. Okay, so all right, let's do it. All right, so we're gonna take this, and this should be fairly easy because you can nest your seams. And I love that. This foot that I'm using is not necessarily a 1/4 inch foot. I had it on there, I have it on there for bag making purposes a lot of the time. I have a Teflon foot that's the same. But this one allows me to see my 1/4 inch line. So that's why I'm using this foot. But there are specific sewing machine feet that I'll help you get a perfect 1/4 inch seam every single time. I try not to talk while my sewing machine is going because I know you probably can't hear me. We are almost done. This is very exciting. All right, we need to make sure we flip our blocks now. It's a good time for me to shamelessly plug my Twitch channel. Same name over on Twitch, Positively Stitched. I sew live Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. Wednesday nights we play a game. And Monday during the day is kind of like a free-for-all, like whatever I feel like doing Monday during the day. I was kind of raised in the quilting world where, you know, they say that no quilt is perfect, right? I'm not religious, but I kind of take it back to what the Amish say, that like only God is perfect. So like there's always a flaw in everything. Again, not a believer, but I believe that everything is perfect in the way that it comes out. So even with its flaws, it's perfect. So I don't trim up my blocks a lot of the time unless I know that something's like glaringly obvious, because it's part of the charm of the quilt. Some people prefer it though. Some people prefer to square up every block, make sure that everything is perfect. I don't, and I'm okay with that. Last block before we get to iron again. This is so exciting. I love this. I am very excited about this entire process. All right, so we do have one of these blocks is just a little bit longer. That's okay. I know what my 1/4 inch is supposed to look like, so we're just gonna do that. I'm trying to nest my seams. Again, I don't pin. That's a personal choice. Perfect. Okay. The thing about the Mini Oliso is it gets hot. This thing is a beast. All right, I'm gonna set this back here. And I'm gonna take you all the way to the end. So if you've already seen what you needed to see, I get it. You don't have to hang with me through to the end, but I would appreciate it. You know, watch time and all that stuff. It looks like I'm dragging my iron, but I am not like pushing and dragging it. I'm using a very light pressure. And then I'm using some steam. Now there are quilters who would say, don't use steam. It's going to warp your fabrics. I like steam. What can I say? Quilting is your own personal journey. And I've learned that some people can't help themselves. They just have to insert whatever it is that they believe that you should do, or that they believe they should correct you when they think you're doing something wrong in quilting. I'm not that way. The only thing I hold as a hard and fast rule is your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Just make sure your seams are at least 1/4 inch and that all of your seams are the same. So if you're going to use a 3/8 seam allowance, just make sure that all of your seams are 3/8. That's the only thing that really matters. I mean, obviously, if the pattern calls for a 1/4 inch and you're using 3/8, there's going to be problems. But oh my gosh, this is so cool. All right. That was the last one. Okay, so man, I really appreciate you guys watching this video and hanging out with me during Clue 1 of the Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt. So this is the large size in lavender. This is Clue 1, the first of 4 blocks. And stay tuned for Clue 2. Have a great day. Bye.